We got a problem, folks. We got a major problem, and it's called empathy. Let me explain. Empathy has a PR problem. You see, somewhere along the way, compassion and empathy got mistaken for weakness. Understanding became surrender. Listening became an endorsement. And saying, you know, maybe there's more to the story, became the fastest way to get accused of being on the wrong side, the wrong team. Get over there. We don't want you. Welcome to the modern age, where everyone wants nuance until nuance disagrees with them. See, nuance is complicated. We live in a civilization where people spend 3 hours arguing in the comments section of an article they never actually read. And folks, that's not discourse. That's intellectual DoorDash. It's fast, it's convenient, but it's nutritionally bankrupt. The war on empathy isn't being fought with tanks, it's fought with hot takes. It's fought with algorithms. It's fought with silos. It's fought every time one says, I don't need context. Translation, I've already reached my verdict. Please don't contaminate it with facts. We become emotional vampires, emotional snipers. One headline, one clip, one tweet, and boom, guilty. No investigation required, no conversation, just psychological drive-by shootings. And outrage, yeah, outrage is a new junk food. It's emotional fast food. It tastes amazing, it's cheap, it's addictive, and if you consume enough of it, you'll eventually develop spiritual heart disease. And as far as empathy, you ask? Well, empathy is more like vegetables. Nobody gets excited about broccoli, am I right? Until the doctor starts pointing out your arteries. Modern culture says protect your peace. Now, sometimes it's healthy. Sometimes it's just a socially acceptable way of saying, I've decided everyone who mildly inconveniences me is toxic. Your waiter forgot your ranch. He's not a narcissist. He's just busy. Your coworker didn't smile. They're not gaslighting you. They might simply have a migraine. Not every inconvenience deserves a clinical diagnosis. Therapy speak has officially escaped the zoo. Can we talk about this? Really? Everyone has become an amateur psychologist. My ex is a narcissist. My boss is toxic. My neighbor is emotionally unavailable. Maybe, or maybe they're just kind of annoying. Not every jerk has a personality disorder, as it turns out. Sometimes people are simply just jerks. Psychology gave us incredible tools, and the internet turned them into baseball bats. Swing away. And can we talk about something else? Everybody wants to be heard. Nobody wants to listen, though. Everybody needs and wants compassion, but nobody wants correction. We've somehow created a culture where accountability feels more like violence, but public humiliation counts as justice? That's a strange religion. Its commandments are simple. Judge instantly, forgive selectively, screenshot everything, repent never. We worship being right. Have you noticed that? And have you noticed something? Being right has become more important than being wise. People don't ask questions anymore. They collect evidence. And not to understand, but to prosecute. Every conversation feels like an audition tape for a courtroom drama. Objection. Sustained. You're canceled. Relax, counselor. Someone just said pineapple belongs on pizza. Empathy is terrible for tribalism. That's another thing. Tribes hate empathy. Empathy makes terrible propaganda. It's hard to hate people once you've heard their stories. And that's inconvenient if your identity depends on having villains. You see, villains simplify life. Human beings, though, They're complicated, and they complicate life. And complexity gives people migraines. Everybody wants to be a hero. But here's the funny part. Nobody wakes up thinking, you know what? Today, I'm going to be the villain. Even terrible decisions usually come wrapped in beautiful justifications. We're all starring in our own documentaries, aren't we? The soundtrack is inspiring. The lighting is flattering. The narrator sounds suspiciously like Morgan Freeman. Then somebody else's documentary comes out, and suddenly you're the bad guy. Perspective tends to be humbling, doesn't it? And the ego hates curiosity. The ego loves certainty. Curiosity threatens its job security. Curiosity asks, what if I am wrong? The ego says, delete that sentence immediately. Imagine if every argument started with, I might be missing something. The internet would lose 90% of its business model overnight. Overnight. Empathy doesn't mean becoming a doormat. Let's be clear, and let's clear this up. Empathy is not letting people walk all over you. Boundaries and compassion are roommates, not enemies. You can understand why someone is acting badly and still refuse to hand them the keys to your house. Understanding behavior isn't surrendering to it, it's simply refusing to become blind. Institutions and empty souls. Something strange happens when systems forget people. Hospitals start treating charts. Schools start treating scores. Governments start treating statistics. Businesses start treating customers like spreadsheets. And somewhere, a living, breathing human being gets replaced by a file number. Efficiency is wonderful until efficiency forgets mercy. Am I right? The cost of staying human. See, here's the catch. Empathy hurts. You absorb pieces of others' pain. That's exhausting. Judgment is easier. Dismissal is easier. Mockery is easier. Compassion? Compassion is emotional heavy lifting. No wonder so few people train for it. And we're in this great emotional inflation. We've inflated emotions so much that every disagreement feels like a catastrophe. Someone disagrees with you online. Suddenly democracy is ending. Your cousin votes differently. Thanksgiving becomes the fall of Rome. We've confused discomfort with danger. They're not the same thing. Not at all. Growth has always been uncomfortable. And see, here's the other thing, the sacred rebellion, the ultimate rebellion. Stay soft in a world selling armor. Stay curious in a culture addicted to certainty. Stay compassionate in a marketplace that profits from outrage. That doesn't make you weak. It makes you difficult to manipulate. And because outrage can be purchased, fear can be manufactured, hatred can be marketed. And as far as empathy goes, you ask, empathy refuses to become a product. The war on empathy isn't really about kindness, it's about attention. Who gets your attention? Fear? Outrage? The loudest voice? Or the quiet possibility that another human being is more complicated than your first impression? Every day you get to choose. Become another echo or become an interruption. Refuse to let cynicism have the last word. Refuse to let outrage become your personality. Refuse to confuse being loud with being awake. Because the strongest people I've ever met weren't the ones who won every argument. They were the ones who never let bitterness become their identity. Empathy isn't weakness, it's resistance. And in a world were trying to turn us into algorithms with heartbeats, remaining deeply, inconveniently human may be the most rebellious act left. So, stay rebellious, stay curious, stay open. There has never been a time in humanity where empathy was more necessary, more important, and more vital. It is not a negotiable state of being. We will not and cannot survive as humanity without empathy. So, what I will say is continue to learn, continue to try to understand, continue to open your heart, your soul, your spirit to others. People are far more complicated and complex than we even realize. And as far as trying to neatly compartmentalize people into these neat boxes or these neat check boxes where they have all the things and all the ducks in a row, that's not life. That's not real life. People have a lot of things going on, both inside and outside. And it's time for us to acknowledge that and to be honest with that, and not just about others, but really about ourselves. We're muddy, right? We're muddy. And I think eventually we want somebody to get in the mud with us, and we need that. So, laugh at yourself. Don't take yourself too seriously. Learn to put yourself in another's shoes, to consider another's perspective. Consider that you don't have all the answers, or you don't know everything there is to know, because nobody does. And I think one of the greatest assets and one of the greatest things about being a human being is that we get to kind of enjoy the ride of mystery. And mystery allows us to, every day when we wake up, to keep our eyes open, to keep our ears open, to keep our souls open. So I say to you, and I say to myself, keep opening up, keep expanding, keep growing, keep learning. Empathy is not the enemy. It's our greatest ally. And we will not carry on in humanity without it. This is Sacred Fox Consulting, and I'm Mr. Fox. I'll see you next time.